Hello, everyone. Rabbi Steven Schwartz with you. Almost Shabbat Shalom. Getting this email just probably a few hours before Shabbos starts. I wanted to share with you a thought or two about this week's Torah portion. Parasha is called Yitro or Jethro. It's named for Moses' father-in-law, primarily because at the very beginning of the portion there's an encounter, a conversation between Moses and his father-in-law. Moses with the opportunity to recount for Jethro what's happened to the Israelites in this last stretch, some incredible moments for the Israelites, for God, and what happened in terms of Exodus from Egypt. Jethro listens carefully, and then Jethro and Moses engage in a conversation about possibly a better system that Moses can use to try to tend to the needs of the people. He's essentially trying to do everything by himself, and he needs help. And so Jethro says, hey, take it easy. Look, try this. These people might be able to help you. But there's an interesting detail just at the beginning of the Parasha where Moses says the names of his sons, Gershom, and then, of course, Eliezer, and an explanation about each of the names. And the explanation for the name of Gershom is this: Ger Hayiti be'eretz Nachriya. So he says, I named my son Gershom, meaning Ger, stranger, Sham, there, because Ger Hayiti be'eretz Nachriya, because I was a Ger, I was a stranger in a strange land, a stranger in a strange land. And those of you who grew up in the 60s and 70s as science fiction fans probably will recognize that phrase, a stranger in a strange land, from the Robert Heinlein novel published in 1961. That is the title, A Stranger in a Strange Land. It tells the tale of an earthling named Valentine Smith. I guess Valentine's Day coming up this week, so maybe appropriate for that reason as well. Valentine Smith is essentially a fish out of water because he has grown up on Mars, raised by Martians, but then is taken back from Mars to Earth, and Earth culture, humanity in general, the way people operate, talk to one another, engage with one another, is completely foreign to him. He has no idea. He has absolutely no idea. Truly a stranger in a strange land. You know, often we talk about the sort of existential Jewish condition, that the Jews are the wanderers, that until 1948, 75 years ago, when the founding of the modern state of Israel, Jews lived in many lands, but were at home in no land. And we question ourselves sometimes, even here in the United States, in the following way. We say, are we American Jews or are we Jewish Americans? That is to say, is it our Jewish identity that comes first or our American identity? In other words, are we strangers in a strange land here in the United States, and could we only be at home in the land of Israel or not? And I think the truth is yes. In other words, it's a little bit of both. Sometimes we feel like we're Jewish Americans, and sometimes we feel like American Jews. When we're Jewish Americans, what we're saying is that we put our Jewish identity first, and that it is that speaks to us most clearly, most strongly. But sometimes we feel that our American identity is what defines us in terms of who we are, and that it is America that is the place where we make our home. So Jewish Americans, American Jews, are we strangers in a strange land? Shabbat Shalom.